The French philosopher Albert Camus has a beautiful quote. We are asked to love or to hate such and such a country and such a people, but some of us feel too strongly our common humanity to make such a choice. In today's world, with all the divisiveness of Western politics and the different opposing identity groups that are always popping up, we often talk about how we need to move past our differences and find common ground. But Camus wrote this quote after the end of World War II, a time when the world was reeling from a level of violence that we cannot even comprehend today. A time that makes our divisions over partisan politics seem silly and pathetic. To speak of common humanity after that type of bloodshed, and as Russia and the US were gearing up for a battle of capitalist and communist ideologies, takes a great deal of either hope or naiveness. But what even is common humanity? Or does it even exist? Is there some kind of internal spiritual essence or collective consciousness that links us to each other? Or is it just the idea that we have biological similarities and so are programmed in some evolutionary sense to band together against the rest of the natural world? Is it that as we've progressed as a whole, we've recognized the value of creating feelings of shared connection to other countries and peoples to lessen violence and promote peace, and so have programmed ourselves into believing in some type of common humanity? I don't know the answer. But what I do know is that when I look at the violence in Ukraine, or hear about civilians in the Middle East being drone striked, or protesters in Hong Kong being brutally oppressed, something stirs me. There's something there that doesn't allow us to look at suffering in another country by other people and not feel some level of sympathy. But going back to Camus, an event like World War II obviously puts into question how strong those feelings of shared humanity are. After the Holocaust and just the overall loss of life in the war, it would be easy to say that humanity is simply a horrid species and that we should just all cling to our respective countries and their allies and shun all others. However, despite the violence, Camus still feels connection to all his fellow men and women in foreign countries. He will not be influenced by those who would seek to create division and hatred between countries and peoples. If Camus can do this at that time period, surely we can resist those nefarious agents of our time who seek to suppress those feelings of sympathy and kinship that seem to spring up in us for our fellow humans for whatever reason. Let us resist their attempts to replace connection with hatred and their attempts to create differences where there are none. Us humans all laugh, we all love, and we all cry, and we all feel pain. We will always be more similar than different.